Hi, everybody, and welcome to the MCFL, Nashville's premier fantasy football. Once again, alongside Justin Geppert, John Heumann. This week, we're going to be talking about a couple of things. Brad gets off his schneid, Wade gets his just desserts, and a running back makes history. Let's get into a Week 2 recap.
First, we're going to start off by recapping this week's highlights, scores, stats, obviously players of the week. Starting off, we're going to just go ahead and roll right into it. We're obviously going to start with Brad because he did have the player of the week with Jamal Lewis, setting an NFL record with 295 yards, rushing in one single game. Pretty much Brad just beat somebody like a narc in a biker rally in this one, so it wasn't very pretty.
A narc in a biker rally.
So, going on with there, we had Brad playing Wade, or the Tidy Whiteys, getting their Tidy Whiteys washed by the Jolly Drunkards. Next, we had the Magnificent Bastards. Who did Magnificent Bastards play this week?
Magnificent Bastards played, where are you? They played the Blue Nut Boilers. Blue Nut Boilers, once again, putting up good numbers, but not actually getting in the win column. She is number 5 in overall points and number 10 in the standings because she hasn't won a game yet. That's one of the things we're going to talk about later. I just want to bring up another point about Brad and Wade. Brad, last week, was super horrific. Coming in, oh no, he wasn't. He hit 221 last week. This week, he scored 338.9 points, and that's just amazing. And thank you very much to Jamal Lewis. Each of his receivers combined to get him 30 catches. That's insane. Wade, a great point total this week, but a loss, which he gets his just desserts for doing the same thing to Jennifer last week with a great point total, but she got the loss. So let's see here. We're talking about the Magnificent Bastards and the Blue Nut Boilers. Blue Nut Boilers, once again, good score, not in the win column yet. The Magnificent Bastards, do you want to do your little effect thing? All right. Magnificent Bastards also scored over 300 points. Just amazing. You're the man. Stop laughing at me. Let's see. Who's your highest scorer, Josh?
I believe that would be the Indianapolis Colts defense.
Oh, wow. That's a shock. The Indianapolis Colts defense, he just said. All right.
Which has probably turned out to be one of the better picks so far this season. Probably only allowing maybe, 15, 16 points a game? 13 points a game.
13 points for the entire season.
So far, Tony Dungy seems to have turned it around in Indianapolis. Just quite possibly. However, though, ball control is giving it to him, though.
Yeah, and wow, the Titans looked horrible. Just to throw that out there. Was it because of Indianapolis or was it because they just looked horrible? I don't know. I'd like to think it was because Indianapolis put it to them. But all right, matchup number 3 here. The Orange Crush. Team Bun's name has been changed to the Orange Crush because it's just more fitting. Trust us. They played the Bizzies and the Hizzy, arguably the dumbest name in the whole league. I just want to throw that out there. Team Buns, who beat us last week with a very low score, was beaten this week by a very low score. Bizzies and the Hizzy scored 201.7 and the Orange Crush 174 even. So that knocked them down. Not really a whole lot to talk about either one of those teams because those are bad scores and who cares.
It's going to be a question pretty much to see how long Dean rides the Donovan McNabb wave, and nobody knows what's going on with the Eagles, and their team defense isn't good. McNabb looks like a confused 2-year-old, and we just don't know what to do. So he's probably going to have to start looking at his bench, seeing what he's got.
Who do the Eagles play next week?
You know, actually, Dean's got Tommy Maddox. I think it's probably time to start him.
Well, he's going to have to start him because Philly's off this week, which may just be what Donovan McNabb needs. It's only two games. It's not very much. Let's see here. Next, once again, a low score beating an even lower score. The mighty Funchabuckins. Low score of the week. 153.9 to Fantastic Damage's whopping 219 even. Fantastic Damage, really no players of note. The mighty Funchabuckins started the vaunted Titans D, who didn't look too vaunted. And Rich Gannon, MVP, Super Bowl starter, and our defense and our quarterback combined for a total of 16 points. We had Drew Bledsoe and New England's defense.
And let's just say this.
on the bench.
We've already discussed this. But no, we're not going to move on just yet because we've already had this conversation a couple times. He's got Rich Gannon. I understand the point total that he put up last year, the MVP status and all that. But you got Drew Bledsoe, who everyone obviously knows has got a hot hand right now.
Well,
blowout first week.
Hot hands have to be established.
Okay, I understand that.
Gannon got his butt kicked last week, and he still scored 50-something points. I mean, that's good. You figure he's playing against Cincinnati. He's playing against Cincinnati.
I still think you ride the hot hand. And after seeing what he's done the past 2 weeks,
hold on,
I think it's time to see him do it.
Well, don't worry, it's happening this week. Buffalo played Jacksonville. I have no excuse. Moving on.
Play Jacksonville.
Cincinnati. That's all I'm saying. All right, moving on. We've covered Buns and Dean. All right. Your game.
My game. Well, obviously I got you're talking about the Mad Hatters versus the
Mateos Maniacal Mexicans.
Mateos Maniacal Mexicans. See, the first phone call we got was great. He was starting the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and we were very excited about this, playing Kansas City. Unfortunately, we got a call back about 15 minutes later saying he was starting the Seattle defense against the Arizona Cardinals. Oh, the joy and elation of seeing that score. Pretty much Seattle just took it to the house on him, scoring a touchdown, 6 turnovers, and 2 sacks. I think he scored a total of 85 points just with his team defense, which is one of those high scorers of all time, I'm sure. Absolute brutality. And then, of course, there's pretty much nothing my squad could do. Peyton had a decent week again. Still not breaking 200-yard mark, though. Marvin Harrison still getting like 4 or 5 catches, but just not producing like they're supposed to.
But you're going to keep starting them because they're known quantities, not unlike Rich Gannon. Yeah. Sorry. I'm tender and sore this week.
Yes, as we all are.
All right. Are you laughing at me? I can hear him laughing at me. Magnificent Bastards team owners in the booth laughing at me. It's all right. This week, the last but certainly not least, the matchup and the two teams that slowly, methodically, mercilessly, these guys are driving me insane. The Dime Store Cowboys and Mr. Fantasy's All-Stars. 2 pretty good scores. We've got the Dime Store Cowboys victorious with 264 even, and Mr. Fantasy's All-Stars with 224.4. Wasn't this our game of the league?
This is by far our game of the week.
This was our game of the week last week. So let me just, we'll run down the standings here. And we're going to be mentioning this also later on, but all this is going to be on a website called themcfl.com, themcfl.com. And there's a little sheet that I make every week, and it looks like this. I don't know if you can see that. It's probably far away. And we have ghost camera operators, so. But this is the standings, the overall standings, the point standings,
we can
this
zoom
week's
in with
points.
it ourselves.
I suppose we could, but then we get in trouble. Don't you do that. Our awards, there's picks. Well, you go to the website. We'll talk about more about that later.
Pretty self-explanatory.
We'll talk more about that later. So this week's point standings. This week's points from top to bottom. Jolly Drunkards, followed by the Magnificent Bastards. He's not going to do it. There we go. All right. Mateo's Maniacal Mexicans, almost at the 300 mark with 297. Then the Tidy Whiteys in a loss with the 4th highest points. And then Dime Store Cowboys, 264 with a win. Then the Blue Nut Boilers at a loss in the top half still because she's not getting any love. Mr. Fantasy's All-Stars, fantastic damage. This guy right here, the Mad Hatters. Then Busies and the Hizzies.
Busies and the Hizzies with a whopping 201.7 score getting a win. That little point should never, ever win a game. But
yeah, that's ridiculous. What's his nuts? Fantastic damage. Also got a win in the 8th spot. You shouldn't be getting, obviously you shouldn't be getting wins if you're in the bottom half of the points, but it happens. But number 10, Orange Crush, and then the lowly Funchabuckets. We're going to be good.
Well, let's just let them know. 153.9 points.
Not the lowest point total of the year.
Not the lowest point total of the year.
That was the Dime Store Cowboys last week.
You made a run at it though.
Yeah, we had. Let's see, Bledsoe. I think. Well, let's see what his numbers were this week. He was 19 of 25, 2 touchdowns. He had over 300 yards. Okay, so that's 50. That's at least 50, 60 points. Okay, we had also 110 on the defense. We had 100 and whatever 70 points on the bench. We need a coach. What in the world was that?
We're malfunctioning. I'm just playing. Keep
Go,
going.
deploy.
Yeah, we have our own sound effects guy. All right, so that's the recap of week 2. We'll go to the league awards here.
And of course, the player of the week, no question, is Jamal Lewis with the, once again, 295 yards rushing.
You'll always be.
Shut him up. Just because he played at the University of Tennessee doesn't mean we have to give him respect on this team, but good job, Jamal Lewis. The obvious Bonehead no start of the week award. I'm actually going to make a little slash here and say 2 Bonehead no starts because he didn't want to put it, but we're going to have it as the New England Patriots defense and the Drew Bledsoe quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. As he just said, 170 points on the bench. Go, coach. The general manager's office would like to speak with you. Surprise player of the week. I agree with this one 100%. Terry Glenn.
And I put in parentheses here, she looked great, didn't she? I don't know if anybody knows what that is, but
Bill Parcells.
he's playing for the Tuna again, or as they say in New England, Tuner. And then this isn't a normal award, but I gave no love for the points award to the Blue Nut Boilers because she's got a great point total and she's win-less. So, how sad. Let's go to some individual player. We'll go look at some MVP players this week. And let's start off with a wide receiver because I wanted to make a point about the difference between a good, steady player that brings you points every week that you really love to have on your team, and these flash in the pans where I don't know if anybody's on a computer league, but I'm on a couple of computer leagues, and there are people constantly trading. Mr. Bastard in the booth there, we're in a league together on Yahoo, and there's a couple of guys that are constantly, one player has one good week, and they drop somebody that they shouldn't have dropped and pick up this guy that they shouldn't have picked up because he had a good week. Now, players that have been doing well this week, this year, and this
week
week
in, week out, every week produced
Derrick
for you.
Mason last week. He had 2 touchdowns last week or 1?
I think he had 2 touchdowns, but this is the second week in a row he's had 10 catches.
10 catches 2 weeks in a row, and he's right around the 100-yard mark every time. So if you get 10 catches and 100 yards, that's 30 points, and that's great from your receiver. And touchdowns are just a bonus, but you want guys that are getting reps.
Joe Horn is going to be the same way.
Yeah,
You're going to get a lot of Joe Horn, usually a lot of Marvin Harrison. Always good for getting 8, 9 catches.
Yep. Hines Ward.
Hines Ward, the guy just gets open every single day, it seems like. So,
Chris Chambers and Daryl Gardner. Laveranues.
Laveranues Coles is proving to be the best receiver right now in the league, and that he's just getting 10, 11 catches a game, and he's getting a lot of yardage and scoring at least once.
Yep.
So right now, he's definitely the wide receiver MVP.
And some guys that had good weeks, but I'm not sold on: Santana Moss, Darrell Jackson. I was just thinking of somebody else. It'll come to me later.
There's a couple of receivers I think that I want to keep a lookout for. Not putting up big, huge numbers, but obviously coming up will get better, especially in the next couple of years. Andre Johnson on the Texans, each week's getting about 7 or 8 catches. Not huge numbers, but he's putting up 6, 7 catches for a rookie. Somebody somewhere.
The jury's still out on Charles Rogers.
Yes, it is. It wasn't pretty this week.
The jury is still out on Charles
Anquan
Rogers.
Bolden this week, too, as well. Came back, had a respectable game. I had a back-down-to-earth game with at least 6, 7 catches. So.
But, I mean, you can't expect him to have whatever. What did he do last week?
210 yards,
10 catches,
14 catches,
yards
or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
All right. Running backs, we'll just skip over this really quickly. We like Ricky Williams and Mo Williams for their catchability, okay? They catch balls, and caught balls by running backs are pretty valuable in our league.
Running backs are the hottest commodity, but you always want, you want a running back that's going to get a lot of carries, but in the long term, you'll take less carries, as long as they're catching the ball 4 or 5 times a game. Charlie Garner, going to catch the ball probably 6, 7 times a game. That's just as good as getting 5 more carries and a couple more yardage. All-purpose backs like that are really, really, really helpful in the league.
How many all-purpose yards did Ricky have last year? Do you remember?
Over 2,000 all-purpose yards. I think about 2,200, 2,100, something like that. So, I mean, that's huge. Same thing with Marshall Faulk and his big 2 years prior to that. Priest Holmes, obviously. That kind of running back who gets his hand on the ball some way, shape, or form will get you wins and points in the league.
Charlie Garner did not have 1,000 yards rushing last year. He had 900 and something yards rushing, but he also had 900 and something yards receiving, which is huge. That's the kind of thing we look for. And Jamal Lewis broke a record that had only been held for a couple of years, 3 or 4 years.
2,000 Corey Dillon against the Denver Broncos.
Yep, against
278 yards.
Yep, and which was previously held by the man, Walter Payton. All right, 3 defenses that did really well this week. Justin mentioned Seattle's defense. We also mentioned what New England did and didn't get started. Kansas City's defense, just wanted to note, they had 4 takeaways, 4 sacks, but they also scored 2 touchdowns.
However, I like Kansas City's defense, except I'm not crazy about them for the fact of yes, they're getting turnovers, they're getting sacks, they're helping their team win the game, but they're still allowing a lot of points. And if that defense stalls, if that offense stalls, the defense is going to have to really step it up. And however, I want to mention one thing. We talked about this quarterback-wise earlier. Right now, it's still too early to tell, but right now the quarterback running in the league right now who's got to be up there with MVP, along with Bledsoe, Patrick Ramsey is putting up huge numbers.
Oh, we didn't talk about quarterbacks. Let's do that. Patrick Ramsey this week, amazing. I'm still not sold on the fun and gun or whatever, but Patrick Ramsey is starting to disgust me. 25 for 39, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and over 350 yards, total yards. He had 356 all-purpose yards. That's amazing. Quincy Carter, not too bad. 25 for 40, a touchdown and an interception, and 339 all-purpose yards. Who else did I think? We mentioned Bledsoe's numbers. Tom Brady did really well, 30 for 44. He only had 262 all-purpose yards, but he had 3 touchdowns. And here's the 2 quarterbacks. You can talk about them.
When we come back.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. More about the quarterbacks when we return. Welcome back. Just wanted to mention before we went on to the next thing, Matt Hasselbeck, Jay Fiedler, jury's still out on those guys. They had good weeks. They've had a couple of good weeks. But low attempts, both of them. Hasselbeck had 14 attempts. Fiedler had 19 attempts. That scares me. Do you know what I'm saying? Low
reps, not good.
Low reps, not good. Low yardage, not good. Moving into this week's matchups. All right. I'm going to read these as the favorite versus the underdog. And then I have a little point line to make it interesting. See how accurately I can predict the games. First of all, we have the Bizzies and the Hizzies versus the lowly Funchabuckins. And I have the Bizzies favored by 100.4 points.
And looking at what they've got team-wise this week, we got a couple of recommendations. Obviously, for the Bizzies and the Hizzies, I think it's time to start Tommy Maddox. Luckily, McNabb is on the bench, so there shouldn't be much of a question.
He's on the bye.
On the bye. I mean, we're going to start Tommy Maddox. Running backs, he is very, very weak right now. Stacey Mack hasn't really proved anything so far. William Green could do well, couldn't do well. Cleveland just hasn't been able to seem to get it together. Eric Moulds, obviously doing a good year. David Boston is back this week, so he'll probably stick with him. Kevin Johnson's got to be doing some good kind of, point-wise. And he's hurting bad this week in defense. He's obviously got probably the #1 defense in the league right now in Carolina.
They're on the bye.
On the bye week, so he's probably going to have to start with Denver. And looking at what the schedule is, Denver is playing Oakland on Monday night, so that should be a fairly high-scoring affair. Then, of course, we have the mighty Funchabuckins, who Coach, what are you planning to start this week?
Probably going to start Bledsoe. Probably going to start New England's defense. All right. Moving right along. Next, we have the Blue Nut Boilers versus Fantastic Damage. And I've got the Blue Nut Boilers favored by 12.2 over Fantastic Damage. Dante Culpepper's come through big time for Blue Nut Boilers, and it would probably behoove Fantastic Damage to start Patrick Ramsey this week because he's got Aaron Brooks and Steve McNair, and, you know, don't get me started about Steve McNair. As a fantasy quarterback, not as a leader, not as a tough guy, not as a warrior, as a fantasy quarterback. That's all I wanted to say.
Coming up next,
Because
we've
you
got
never know who's watching.
Coming next, we've got the Tidy Whiteys versus Orange Crush. We got a line about 39.7 on this. Tidy Whiteys being the favorite, and that they just washed their drawers last week.
Probably Tidies are going to need to start Mark Bulger because they have Corn Dog and Rodney Pete and Kurt Warner. So you're probably going to go ahead and need to start Mark Bulger. He's got Ricky and Fred Taylor doing well. He's mad at Fred Taylor right now. I just have a little inside information. He's thinking about starting Kevin Falk. Don't do that. All right. Let's see. Clinton Portis. Whew. What in the world? His only three. The Orange Crush's only three running backs are Clinton Portis, Landis Gary, Mo Williams. I'm going to have to bump that up to 40 points is enough. That's fine, don't you think?
I think so. I mean, you know.
It'll be fine. Okay. This would be the game of the week if either one of these teams were
winning.
were in the top half.
We're wishing we had our bye week to regroup this week, but we don't. That's the Dime Store Cowboys versus my Mad Hatters.
Mad Hatters are actually favored.
Are we? Wow.
Yes.
We're actually the favorite. So excited. Looking at the week, we're going to stick with Peyton Manning. We're going to stick with Marvin Harrison, Terrell Owens. We don't really know what we're going to do with wide receiver on the third one because Charles Rogers just hasn't proved anything yet. Warwick Dunn and Michael Pittman are scaring us this week. They're good receiving backs, but they're just T.J. Duckett looks to be taking some reps from Warwick Dunn. Kerry Collins too. You just don't know between him and Peyton.
You want to know what I think? You know what I think is going to be the difference here? Peyton at home against Jacksonville versus Brady at home against the Jets. A couple of hapless, crapless teams. I want to throw my 2 cents in there for that.
All right.
Moving right along.
We got
the Magnificent Bastards. All right. Favored by 23.5 over the Mr. Fantasy's All-Stars. Or, as we like to call this friendly rivalry, the Jarheads versus the Squids. And everybody knows what that is. This is Jarheads versus Squids 5, I think. I went back and looked it up.
Jarheads have the all-time record.
Jarheads does have the all-time, they have a winning record. Let's see here. Hasselbeck. Ooh, I'm sorry I talked badly about Hasselbeck, Josh. Let's see. It's Hasselbeck versus, but you know what? It's Hasselbeck versus Trent Green. So that's a wash. Let's go to the running backs.
Travis Henry versus Tiki Barber.
Travis Henry and Tiki Barber versus Amon Greenberg and Stephen Davis.
No, because he loses Stephen Davis this week, and he's got Troy Hambrick as his backup. Ooh.
Thomas Jones, Ontario Smith. Troy Hambrick is on the bye?
Wow.
Carolina, Chicago, Dallas, and Philadelphia are on the
Sean
bye.
Bryson could help him out here. Did I just mention one thing for our fabulous producer? What in the world did Travis Henry, 21 carries for 26 yards and 3 touchdowns?
An unorthodox scoring.
Very odd.
I so hope that you people can hear this,
yes.
What he's saying. Because if not, I'm going to move this up here so you can hear it, because it's brilliant. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, the
Mateo's Maniacal Mexicans versus the Jolly Drunkards. That's the game of the week so far.
And Mateo's favored by 58.2.
You got to assume that Jamal Lewis is not going to come back and do another 200-something yard game, so the Jolly Drunkards can... Oh, God, his starting quarterback's Jake Plummer.
I just want to...
Yes,
exactly.
It's true.
But he's got Berline, and he's also got Jeff Blake.
Who's out with a separated shoulder.
Jeff
Blake got hurt again this week, too.
Jeff Blake is hurt?
I'm pretty sure.
Blake will play. He had a bruised heel.
Oh, okay.
Jeff Blake will play. He had a bruised heel. Is what it's. Oh, that's right. I remember seeing the footage of the doctor going, oh, and he's like,
stop that!
All right.
Mateo's probably sitting pretty happy with Garcia, Plaxico, Deuce, and Edge.
Yeah.
Mateo's sitting pretty right now.
He'll be fine.
The Nike Mexicans.
If he starts that defense right there, I think.
And they'll be playing. Seattle is playing this week St. Louis, I don't know.
I mean, St. Louis,
San Francisco against Cleveland, maybe?
if we had 3 hours to talk about this, we could talk for 3 hours about this. All right. Let's see. So those are the matchups. I now know why Josh wanted me to talk about the history and the drama of the matchups, because he's playing Keith this week. We mentioned already who's on bye. How we doing?
We're okay. It's been just a hair.
Okay. Well, we're almost done, so. Just mentioned again who's on the bye this week. Carolina, Chicago, Dallas, and Philadelphia. So players that impact. If you got Jake Delhomme, Stephen Davis, whatever crappy receiver Carolina has right now. Chicago, Marty Booker and Cordell Stewart. I can't imagine. Oh, Carolina's defense.
Brian Urlacher, don't want to start him.
Urlacher, exactly.
The lowly Eagles and Todd Pinkston, James Thrash, Donovan McNabb, Deuce, Dave
Cole
Akers.
Buckhalter.
Nobody.
Whatever. Dallas, Joey Galloway.
Quincy Carter.
Quincy Carter.
Marketplaces that are